time for another Dice Tower review with Tim Jennette.
Hey everyone, this is Tim Jennette, the Metal Meeple, and in this video we're taking a look at a little chip game called Chip Up. Comes in this tube. Anyway, it's for 2 to 4 players. It came out in 2014 by a company called Mindware. I don't see much of it online. I don't even think it has a Board Game Geek entry. None of the designers are credited in the rule book. But anyway, it is a LCR style chip taking game where you roll some dice, do some actions. You either take chips from other players or from the middle. Once it's depleted, whoever has the tallest stack of chips is the winner. So let's take a look at the rules. I'll show you how to play it, and we'll come back and I'll tell you what I think. So Chip Up comes with a ton of chips and 2 dice. Each player is going to receive one of every color. There's technically 4 colors, but you also get this white banking chip that you put on the bottom of your stack. You randomize the rest of them. And once everybody has done that, the rest of the chips go in the middle in 2 even stacks. You randomize those as well, making sure that the top chip is not the same on both stacks. And you're pretty much ready to begin. According to the rule book, the youngest player goes first, and they're going to roll these 2 dice, do the actions, and then move on to the next player. And it's going to go around the table until the middle is completely depleted. At that point, whoever has the tallest stack, or basically the most chips, will be the winner. So let's go over these dice and we'll show you what they do. One is just all the different colors, right? So you have 4 colors, and there's always 2 on each side. That's going to tell you what your chips are that you can pick. The second die is the action die. And so we'll go over these one at a time. You've got the little player icon, meaning that you can take from one person at the table. You have the all player icon, meaning that you're going to take from every player at the table. Then you have the hand, which means you're going to give away chips from your own stack to another player of your choice. And then you have a couple of these. I think there's a couple of different ones on here. There's technically 3 of these, but this essentially means you can take chips from either the middle pile or you can bank chips. So first, let me tell you how you can take chips. Right now you'll see that I've rolled a purple and a teal, and I apologize about these colors. We've actually had some discrepancies on whether or not that's blue. It looks teal to me. Anyway, so purple and teal. So let's say you rolled that and you rolled the player icon. So now you got to take purple and teal from any one player. What that means is you're going to look at the top of each player's stack, and if it's purple or teal, then you can do it. Right now, the only person with that is this one. There's purple. Now let's say his was, basically if you did that, you'd be able to take this chip and put it on your stack. But what that means is, for every purple or teal chip in a row from top to bottom, you get to take all those. So in this case, you get to take both these chips. If there was 6 purple and teal, you could take those. But you keep going until you get to a color you don't have. So purple, teal, orange, meaning you would stop there. You can't move the order, but you would take that and you would stick it on top of your chip stack. And that would be your action. Same thing with the select all. You would go from each player, say you rolled orange and blue, or I'm sorry, orange and teal. You would take from there, and that's it. Now, if you give away, it's the same thing. If you rolled purple and green and you had to give away, you would only have to give away this top chip because it's separated by this teal. So you don't keep going down your stack essentially. But anyway, you would give it away to somebody and put them on their stack. Now the last thing is the mostly rolled one is this one. So if you rolled, let's say you rolled green and teal, it allows you to pick from the middle stacks. You get to pick from both. So green and teal, that would be a ton of chips. You get to take all these and put them on your stack. And then you get to look at this stack. It starts with orange, so you couldn't do it, but let's say that orange was gone, you could pick this green and put it on your stack as well. You can't change the order anytime you pick up stacks of chips, but you can choose what order they go on top of your stack, and sometimes that does matter. The last thing you can do is bank. So say for instance, you don't want to take any from the middle, or you couldn't, but you rolled purple and orange, right? So there's no, well, say you roll purple and teal. There's no purple or teal in the middle, but you can bank. So purple and teal allows you to do the same thing. Purple and teal down to the green, and you get to put these under your white chip, and essentially that protects them, because as you give chips away, or people take chips from you, they can't go down to white, because white can never be rolled. So it gives you a way to safeguard some of your chips so they can't be stolen or you don't have to give them away. Now the last thing is sometimes you're going to roll these dice and you're not going to have an option to take. What you can do at that point is pay one chip from the top of your stack to any other player. I'm sorry, pay one from the top of the stack to the middle in any stack, and you can roll the dice again. Now, if that still doesn't yield a result, you can keep going, but you have to, as soon as you're able to take that action, you have to do the action. And again, so you can't just press your luck. You can only press your luck if you don't have an option, basically. So anyway, play is going to go around the table until the middle stacks are gone, and whoever has the tallest chip stack will be the winner. So there you go. Another LCR game. It baffles me why they continue to make these games, but maybe one day there'll be one that's pretty interesting and it'll be fun. But not that it wasn't fun. Let's start with the packaging. First, it's a tube with the string handle. I don't know why you would even carry it like this, but that's cool. The packaging, no, I'd rather it come in a small little box or something. As it is, they barely all fit in there unless you just take a little bit of time to kind of, it's basically almost has to be perfect. As you can see, they're crammed at the top. The chips themselves are pretty neat, but in theory they're pretty neat, but in play they are very frustrating because if they slightly move, they're going to fall down. And in a game where your chip stack really matters and what order they're in and everything, it's terrible to have your chips fall over because then you're like, well, no, those two greens were next to each other. Blah. You might as well just randomize it again. So the chips were cool to look at. You know, they're bulky and everything, but for the most part, they could have just been a little thinner, I think, or a little not as tall a piece, and that would have fixed it. The game is very random length, but that's pretty much what I found with most of these LCR style games. It's either 10 minutes or 40 minutes in between there. So sometimes it goes real fast, sometimes it just takes forever because you're constantly stealing from other players and giving to other players instead of doing from the middle. And then other times you're rolling so much in the middle that the middle's gone real fast and the game just ends. So it's very much a roll and do style game where you're just rolling the dice and picking it. The strategies just aren't there. You're usually just going to pick from whoever has the most chips if there's an option, or you're going to pick the only option that you have. So that, to me, could be fixed a little bit by maybe having different actions you could pick, which brings me into a variant that we were kind of playing where we removed the die for the actions and only kept the die for the colors. And then you just roll the colors and you can either choose to pick from one person, pick from the middle, or bank chips. And the one thing I had about the pressure luck aspect where you can spin chips to keep going to re-roll, in the normal game you could only do that if you had no options. But in the variant that we were trying out, we would give it to other players and you could do it as many times as you want to try to get that perfect color combination that you could get. Sometimes it didn't happen. You spin all your chips or you spin too many. So, I don't know. Maybe I'll post that online. But as far as it goes now with the original game and everything, it's passable. It's for me, it's just, I've got other LCR style games that I could play and tolerate. But for this one, it was a cheap buy. I didn't see much about it. So I was like, why not? Check it out. It said pressure luck. Pretty neat. So, didn't pan out, but, you know, if it looks interesting to you for some reason, feel free to check it out. I don't think there's a Board Game Geek entry for it yet, but maybe there will be soon. Anyway, you feel free to email me at timjennette@gmail.com. I'll post my Twitter down below if you want to follow me there. And till next time, keep on rocking and rolling dice.
Thanks so much for watching the Dice Tower videos. Find more great videos and reviews as well as our top-rated audio podcast at Dicetower.com. You can also find other great shows at DicetowerNetwork.com. I'm Eric Summerer, and you've been watching The Dice Tower. The Dice Tower is sponsored by Cool Stuff Inc., where you can find great games for great prices. Cool stuff in stock. Check them out at CoolStuffInc.com.